Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program.
Whoops.
Live show.
All right, and we're here. We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guy Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California. And this is Jim with theconguy.com.
She's been here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm Danae Sams, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things Jake, we're going to have to get you in on that opening video there.
I'm in it for a second. You see me hold the
that's right. That's right. Well, we started with the ending video, but what you going to do? You know, it's all one big circle. Anyways, welcome everybody to the award-winning Con Guy Show. Yes, that's right. It may not be the Oscars, but we're the little show that could, and we've got an award from the Scene Snobs to prove it. We're going to talk about that in just a second.
I would much rather watch the Scene Snobs than the Oscars right now.
I was going to say, speaking of the award shows, did you know that the Academy Awards were on this week? Neither did anybody else. But,
did Bill and Ted win?
But don't worry, we catch
Short Reznor won. That's all that matters. Yeah,
that's right. We catch up on all the winners, the losers. But we also introduce you to a new kind of fan convention this week, SoapCon Live, and most importantly, we break down the season finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have some great guests with us this week. I'm going to start right up top, right next to me. Who do we have with us today? That's Derek.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm Derek Sands. I'm a regular on here. I'm a contributor to theconguy.com.
And I'm Cheeseman here, screenwriter, and here with theconguy.com, social media director.
And below Cheeseman, who do we have?
Hey, everybody. It's Jake from the Jacoba System, coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the show again. Looking forward to talking about some fun, nerdy stuff.
We are so looking forward to it. And special, especially for us tonight, we have a couple of people on the show which we're really excited about. One of them is a friend of the show, Lucretia Lyon. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad we could work this out because who better to talk con with than the Con Guys?
And where are you coming to us from tonight, Lucretia?
Strangely, Tyler, Texas still. I have not gotten back to Hollywood.
And Susan Eisenberg, we have never spoken before, well, except for a couple minutes before the show, but this is an honor. You are, in addition to the voice of Wonder Woman, you're helping to throw this big SoapCon Live convention happening this weekend. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you so much for hosting me. Yeah, so two things here, cons and soap operas, and love both, and Lucretia and I decided to put them together and create a Comic-Con for soap operas. And we have our first event this weekend. So thank you for hosting us and letting us share all the details with your audience.
Well, we are going to jump into that. That's our first topic of the night. We are so excited to talk about it. But one thing that we said right at the top of the show that is kind of cool, we're going to, let me see, I've got it right here. The Con Guy Show is the winner of the Best Discussion Panel Podcast from the Snobby Awards, the Scene Snobs.
Yay!
And we're super stoked about that. They had a lot of cool people, and I'm going to pull up the list here in just a minute, and we're going to go through a couple of them. But for all the folks over there who voted, thank you so much. We know, this may not be the Oscars, but like Derek said, this is more important than the Oscars to us. This is very cool. This is very cool. All right, let's say hello real quick. Amanda Allen, so good to see you tonight. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the Scene Snobs, Mick Manhattan, thank you so much. Mick's the one that kind of runs the Scene Snobs network of podcast shows. If you guys if you haven't had a chance to check them out, go find them. We'll make sure we put the links up for you. And then also, Cat Bloodgood, always good to see you. I know. And you guys may notice that it looks a little bit different tonight. 1, 2, 3 of our numbers are under the weather tonight, and we wish them well. Amanda, we don't know where Brad's at. Cheeseman, do you know where Brad's at?
My buddy Brad Young.
Yeah, does Brad know that?
This must be your real birthday, because then Brad wouldn't be on here for some reason. He's always
Yeah.
Does
Happy
Brad
birthday.
know that Lucretia's on tonight? Hey, let's text him and let him know. Nathan
Yeah.
Rita, good to see you as well.
He's at
All right,
Walmart buying. He's at Walmart buying toys.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Like-
talk about. I got to say one thing though. This is kind of cool. On this day in history, who knows what's so significant about April 26, 19? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you what the day, but what's anybody know something significant?
Carol Burnett's birthday?
Yeah, that's
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, we should put that on here. That's not what I have. I'll tell you what I have. This kind of ties back to us a little bit. On April 26, 1954, the Salk, S-A-L-K, polio vaccine field trials began, involving 1.8 billion children. It began today in 1954. Today, polio has been eliminated. So all I'm going to say, get your vaccinations, folks. This is a very important thing, if you so choose, and we hope you do. Also, there's one more important thing that happened today. 2 years ago, April 26th. Do you guys know what that is? The biggest superhero movie of all time hit with $60 million in sneak previews.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, and we are so excited about that because Falcon and Winter Soldier ties directly into that. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Yes, Amanda, freaking Brad. So listen, we are excited to talk about SoapCon because I'll be honest with you, our first special guest tonight, Lucretia Lyon, and I actually hosted a show together. What was it? Remember that show, Lucretia?
Oh yes, the X-Files after show, of course.
Yeah, the revival X-Files, not the one from long ago. And that was kind of fun. I don't know if we all thought that the end of the X-Files was ended so greatly, but yeah, it went down.
Yeah, it is what it is, and it was what it was.
Yep.
Yeah. You can find
Are they
quotes
doing
from me on
something
the
else?
internet.
Are they doing something else now? Because I saw a picture that she posted of her and David Duchovny together and meeting her dog, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. So
Lucretia,
I wonder if
do you know about that?
I have no idea. I hope so, but as long as it's them and maybe with the Morgans, Chris Carter, no need to have you back.
Remind me of the Morgans. They're the writers of what?
So Glenn and his brother, Darren Morgan, they wrote a lot of the better X-Files episodes, a lot of the Monster of the Week, especially in the later ones.
Okay, so we're not talking about X-Files tonight, but I wish we
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
I love X-Files. Listen,
Trust me,
Guys,
guys.
gotta be careful about getting
Look it
Jim
up.
started.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I know you're going to get me started on that.
Yeah.
Lucretia is a comedian, host, and actress who started out hosting the General Hospital after show at AfterBuzz TV and currently has her own soap opera podcast, Believe in Soap Operas, which sounds awesome. Susan Eisenberg is a professional voiceover artist, perhaps best known for her breakout role of Wonder Woman, aka Princess Diana, in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited television series. You can look them both up on their IMDb pages. They have a lot more going on, but we just wanted to welcome both of you to the show tonight. And if you guys could tell us, how did the two of you first meet?
So I asked Susan when I saw a tweet of hers about, I think it was definitely about Scotty Baldwin, our buddy Ken Schreiner, who was the Green Arrow in the Justice League Unlimited series. But that's how we know him, is Scotty Baldwin. Big character for General Hospital for us soap nerds. But I saw that and I was like, oh my God, Susan, I play Injustice 2. Like, and I know you as Wonder Woman. You're a soap fan. Do you want to come on my podcast? And she was like, yes.
You know, it was just so funny because unless I post things about Wonder Woman, you know, if I start posting things about soap operas, there aren't too many people who bite. And Lacretia was one of those people that was like trying to engage me on soaps, which I love. And so when she invited me on the podcast, it was like, oh, you mean I get to talk about soaps for an hour with you? Yes, please. And so I appeared on that. And then she just kept having me back. And we disagreed on a lot, but it was really great for the conversation. And she was just so gracious. She had me back over and over. And that's how we met, through social media, through the Twitterverse.
Now,
through Scotty Baldwin.
Yeah.
Now, Derek, Cheeseman, and Jake, I know you guys may not be as familiar with soap operas as our guests, but feel free to jump in because I'm super intrigued about this. Let's hear about SoapCon Live. Where did this idea come from, and how did you guys put that together? Because I was reading about it from your press releases and on the website. You have a lot of different like soap opera digests and retro TV, and a lot of people involved with this, and so many people that are coming on as panelists and everything. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, because, I think with Lucretia and I, with our background for Comic-Con and soap operas, there wasn't anything like this on the canvas. So we were originally talking to another team of people about doing something like this. That didn't pan out. So we decided, okay, if that's not going to happen, let's you and I do it. We know cons, we know soap operas. And then we brought in a third person, Alan Locker, who does a show called The Locker Room. And he was a publicist at CBS for 20 years. So he had connections to a lot of soap actors and, the shows, the writers, the directors. And we invited him to be a part of it. And he was like, okay, I don't know what you're doing. He didn't know anything about the Comic-Con world. He's like, yeah, I didn't know what you're doing either. Thank God Lucretia's really tech savvy because she has moved us along with all this. She's been driving this train, and it's a big train, big caboose. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
it's a crazy train. And that's why we just thought there's nothing like this out there for the fans, and why not do something that's like based like a Comic-Con, but for soap stars and for the soap fans, and just we can help them meet each other, and we're gonna. We have this website where we want people to go and where they can find out about our panels, and they can tell us what panels they want to see, and they can see, all the actors that are going to be involved, and they can buy meet and greets if they want, or autographs or virtual greetings. The panels are all free, just like at a Comic-Con. So that's, we wanted that too. We wanted there to be some free stuff. Neither one of us got into this thinking, "Ooh, let's get rich." It was like, wow, let's do something we love and work with the soap community and make this happen. So here we are.
That's pretty amazing, by the way, Lacretia and Amanda. Brad Everett Young, Lacretia in the house.
Hey, Brad.
Glad he showed up. Thanks, Brad.
So. Hey,
the soap community is huge. What are you expecting as far as numbers? Because I know the soap opera community is just ginormous in numbers. Because Brad shoots a lot of them with his photography and says how much.
I think that's how he knows Lucretia,
right? He gets just on that.
Yeah, and the beauty of Brad's work as well as what we're doing is we're not soap specific. Used to, there was I'm just a general hospital person, but when there's only 4 soaps left and there's all this nostalgia for all the ones that we've lost, there's no reason we can't service them all. And there's no reason we can't just be a collective as soap fans. And just like the cons themselves, that's how I know you guys. That's how we bond. That's what we're looking for with the fans, and putting this out there to everyone to bond, just like we did at cons for comic book stuff, for horror stuff, for all these things. And this is just giving them that outlet, and the sky's the limit, because the beauty of doing things virtually, and of course, live is in the future, but right now, I know that's one of the things I miss the most was the con life. I mean, that was such a big part of my life. And we're bringing it to people virtually, so you don't have to go to San Diego. You can do it right from your living room. You can do it right from your own home. And it doesn't matter if you're in Germany or Canada or, South Carolina, anywhere. you can do this, and the panels are all 100% free. So we are projecting wide numbers. Certainly when you're offering a free service.
Well, Lacretia, can I ask, where did I'm sorry, I was saving a photo and it just kind of jumped in front of me. But when you were talking about this and you guys were talking about that, where did the germ of the idea come? Who first said, hey, this would be this is not a little bitty project. This is a gigantic project. So I commend you for it, but oh my gosh.
Alan Locker was doing things on his YouTube channel called The Locker Room, where he was bringing a lot of soap people on, and he was doing these shows that were very nostalgic and just, it was just a great place for actors and fans to come and congregate. And it inspired me. And I was talking to a con guy, not a con guy, but a con guy. And
we get that all the time.
And, I said to him, there is something to be done here. If we ever could marry the con, business to the soap opera business, it would be fantastic. Mm-hmm. And he thought that was a great idea. Again, we started doing it. Lucretia was there too, and Alan, and that didn't pan out. So then when that partnership didn't work out, Lucretia and I just rolled up our sleeves and we're like, okay, well, we were going to do it with them. We love this. Let's not give it up. So we didn't. And, but it was out of a conversation when I was literally waiting in a waiting room like this on StreamYard, waiting to do an event, I think, with this con, and I was in the green room and we were just talking and something about a soap opera came up and he's like, oh, are you a soap fan? I'm like, am I a soap fan? Am I a soap fan? And it was, we were talking about it and it just really started from there. And then I had to figure out who would be on my team because I can't do it alone. And Lucretia was the first person. Alan and Lucretia, they just jumped out to me because, like I said, I'd been talking to Lucretia. I thought she was incredibly talented, smart. She's just a very special person. And I wanted another woman on the team. The guys I were talking to were all guys, and I wanted another woman on the, to be part of it. So she was.
Because soaps were created by women for women, so it kind of makes sense. Like,
well, let's.
And then it became something that now it's like a business that's owned by me and Lucretia. So it's a woman-owned business, and it's the first of its kind. So it's pretty special. We didn't know we'd end up here when we first started talking.
Yeah.
I don't mean with you guys, although that's special. I mean,
we're
like,
glad to have you.
We've
been begging Lucretia to come on for like 2 years now. She's always too busy.
I know, it's been so long since I've been on. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how it started, and that's where, and now we're here talking to you guys and having our first event this Saturday.
All right. Hey, Derek, Jake, and Luke, don't let me hog the show, but I am going to ask this next question, and then you guys can jump in. You guys have, I don't think we've hammered home yet the websites where people can be participating and watching. If you can, list those for us so we can make sure we don't forget to mention those.
Well, cool. So soapconlive.com is our website. That's where you can find everything. All the panels on Saturday, May 1st will be streamed through the Locker Room YouTube channel. That's Alan's channel, as well as soapoperadigest.com. We're also on the app, It's Real Good TV. It's part of Retro TV. They're the ones that are showing The Doctors, one of the early soap operas, and they have the rights to them. It's really cool that they've been able to bring in The Doctor.
Yeah, that's it.
And, Jonathan Frakes, you guys, of course, recognize Alec Baldwin. People like that started on The Doctors.
Wait, tell us about this. This is pretty impressive. You guys were able to put this panel together. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so this one was just directly through Retro. They've got this deal with The Doctors, and they were more than willing to partner with us, which was great. That was something we brought through Alan, just a way to sort of connect with an even older generation that's finally in the digital age. That's the fun part about the pandemic, I guess you could say, the bright side of it is that so many people have learned to use the internet more to communicate because that was our only choice.
All right. And also, since we're talking about panels, here's another cool one that you guys have put together. Tell us about this.
Oh, yeah. So growing up, One Life to Live was my soap opera. I watched all the ABC ones, and it was always fun to see the Kramer women. As you guys may recognize Cassie DePaiva in the middle there from Evil Dead 2, Bobby Joe. She was Blair Kramer. And the woman right next to her, the matriarch Dorian, she sort of lorded over the family. Dorian Lord was her name. But we have the rest of the Kramers, as in Cassie's daughter, played by Kristen Alderson. She was Star Manning, the father, one of the greatest characters of all time, but we don't want to get into that. And in between them is Gina Togioni, who played Kelly Kramer, which you guys would love to know that Kelly, her main romance at the time was with Nathan Fillion, his character Joey Buchanan.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep. That's where Nathan
on the
started.
show.
Yeah.
On the show.
I'm always amazed how many stars have had a lot of their career in the soaps. But before we move on, just one more, if you can describe this panel to us.
Yeah, so with General Hospital, that one is luckily still on the air. It's the last of the ABC soaps. Ken Schreiner, as we mentioned earlier, the Green Arrow in Justice League Unlimited. He is Scotty Baldwin, and unfortunately, Scotty's been very unlucky in love at his time. As you guys may know, Luke and Laura. But before Luke, there was Scotty. That was Laura's true love, but won't go too in-depth in there since that all happened before I was born. But Scotty's loved Dominique, the mother to his only living child, sadly, who died of a brain tumor. She will be joining us, Shell Danielson, who played that character, as well as Bobby Spencer, Luke's sister, Jackie Zeman, and Brad Mall, Dr. Tony Jones. As most of you may recognize, Frisco Jones was a big character played by Jack Wagner. This is his brother.
Oh my gosh! Hey, a couple comments from Brad, and he was saying, soap fans are so loyal; they flip out. And Brad's a photographer; he takes a lot of photos of some of the actors in the soaps. They flip out when I mix the different casts together, so I know they will flip over all that you guys are doing, which is very cool. And he said one more thing: the only time different soap stars from different shows gather together is the daytime Emmys, and even then they stay in their little, groups.
Cliques,
yeah. This is a great idea that you guys are doing. So this is cool.
And
cool.
We it's funny because when we were trying to create the panels, we were staying with the shows. So it was going to be an As the World Turns and The Doctors and General Hospital and One Life to Live. Going forward, I think we're going to mix and match a little bit because there are so many actors who have done so many different shows. Ken Schreiner alone has, I think, the most soap appearances, of all the actors. So we will mix and match a little bit. And one of the things Lucretia said earlier about the generations, one of the things soap fans are really loyal, and we've been watching for decades. And a lot of us were exposed to soaps through our grandparents or our parents or our older, in my case, it was my 3 older sisters. So it's like we wanted to have something from The Doctors, which is long gone, and we have shows that aren't on but have only been gone for 10 years, and then we have something that's running currently. But we want to give people a chance to see some of the people that they don't see anymore because the shows were canceled. So hopefully some of those grandparents and their children will, we'll have something for everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Derek or Jake, did you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I'm off topic a little bit from what you've been talking about, but Susan, you mentioned earlier about some of your voiceover or your voice acting as Wonder Woman in tons of DC animated properties and in the Injustice video games, which I'm a fan of. But you've also done lots of other video games too. So I'm guessing you've done a lot of conventions.
I have.
How has that experience of going to those conventions influenced your planning of this one?
Well, what the interesting piece of that is the virtual. You know, my experience with Comic-Cons and Lacretia's and all of yours, it doesn't exist right now. You know, I think I was scheduled to do 10 Comic-Cons this past year, and you know, all of them were, you know, taken off my schedule. So I think the hardest thing was watching how the Comic-Cons were adjusting to the virtual piece of it and watching what they did. And I just, as somebody who's met fans, as somebody who has done this virtually as a voiceover actor, I just want there to be a lot of experiences where you feel like it's more intimate, where you get a chance to talk to the actor, and that, like our panels, a lot of times there are Zoom opportunities, you know, that people are offering, but it's like, it doesn't have an intimacy to it. It's over Zoom, and it just feels huge, and there are a ton of people, and some people are allowed inside the room and some people aren't allowed. So this is just going to be hopefully something that you feel connected. You feel like you're a part of something, because I love doing panels. I love doing them with the Justice League actors, and that's like the most fun I have. So for me and Lucretia, we spent a day practically just coming up with panel ideas, and I want the fans to feel the excitement we felt when we were creating them. So yeah, I mean, and we've stolen from everybody, because we're like, oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a good idea. I borrowed.
That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah. We borrowed. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, hopefully it'll be memorable for people. And this is one of many. You know, this is our inaugural event, but hopefully we'll be doing these. You know, we haven't decided yet, but maybe every couple of months. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know you guys are super busy, and we only have you for just a few more minutes. But can you talk about, like, I on your schedule? It looks like there's stuff happening on May the 1st, but then signings and meet and greets are happening on different days as well. Can you kind of discuss how that works?
Sure, Lucretia.
Yeah, so the way the meet and greets work is you get a 3-minute one-on-one. So we had to schedule those with the actors, of course, and get their availability. So when you guys can purchase, you can purchase the meet and greets up till May 7th. So that's a 3-minute one-on-one for just $65. We wanted to keep everything very low cost and very, you know, just across the board for fans, because we're just really interested in people participating and getting that connection that we all really miss from cons. And the thing about the autographs, and we also have video greetings, which are similar to Cameo. It's like a video shout out from the actor. So you guys can get those up until May 17th. So the last day of meet and greets will go over a day, and you can purchase the autographs and video greetings up until then. And we have a fun fulfillment service that makes sure those autographs are given to the actors and getting out to you guys. So it's a really cool process that we've been able to bring this all digitally and virtually to get so many international fans as well, and people who haven't been able to leave their house because, you know, COVID. Yeah.
Exactly. And if that's not it, you know, it sounds a little confusing. I know what's going on, and you know, it's just hard to keep the dates. SoapConLive.com. We explain everything. We explain what each thing is and what you would be buying if you want to buy something, but also we explain the panels and who will be on and what time, Eastern and Pacific Coast time. So it's all laid out there, hopefully in a really obvious way, so that, you know, people understand what's going on.
And just so everybody knows, also, if you go to our website, theconguide.com, right now our feature article is about SoapCon Live. It has all the links. It links you back to each of the spots where you need to be paying attention, but also SoapCon Live is the website you need to go to. And also, when you guys mentioned the locker room, it's LOCHER.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Yes. It's spelled differently.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you'll see tons of Alan on our site, because obviously we're streaming on his YouTube channel, and we have a lot of the guests that he knows personally that he was able to invite to join us for this inaugural event. So the locker room, he has a YouTube channel, but also you can find him on our site too.
Is there anything that we may be missing? Because again, we are coming up to the end of the.
I have a couple questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
That-
So a big
Yeah.
part of conventions is cosplay, all that, and even with these digital cons, there's been cosplayers. Like, do you expect to see any cosplayers of different soap stars from different seasons or episodes or anything like that?
Okay,
I
that's
hope-
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. We had not even talked about this. Lucretia, what do you think?
Oh yeah, like I honestly expected at some point a Susan Banks costume contest to happen. Susan Banks is a character on Days of Our Lives, and if you watch Days, a lot of the people play two different characters, and so it started out with Aileen Davidson, as most people would recognize from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but she is
Oh, yeah, I know her.
a beautiful woman, statuesque, but she plays a very redneck character sometimes, Susan Banks. And now the fantastic Stacey Haydock has taken over. So the buck teeth, the glasses, the wig. If you guys look this character up, you will see why. At one point, I feel like there will be a costume contest because, and cosplayers welcome whatever you can think of. I have my Erica Kane Barbie doll here. I mean, I don't know how anyone can live up to Erica Kane, but by all means, try.
That's great. That's a great idea. That's great.
The other question I had was, so like there's these expo halls and other things, and like the conventions and even the digital ones have started to do kind of a virtual one. Are there any like exhibitors or any exclusives, or is there such thing as, soap Funko Pops and all that kind of stuff, or anything special collector wise happening for these people, or do they collect things?
Well, yeah, like one time Mattel made an Erica Kane Barbie from all my children. So there is merch, as you see, Jennifer Hospital board game here, as well as some more recent merchandise like mugs from ABC and CBS shops. So eventually that is something we would like to do. And the fun part about the soaps is a lot of these actors, they're the blue collar workers, as they say, of the industry. So a lot of them have their own side businesses, their own side hustles. So that's what we're looking to incorporate, like digital stores, as well as, vendor options when we go live as well, for the actors themselves to sell their goods. I mean, you have actors who make scarves and write comic books. I mean, trust me, there's a few sub guys I see at San Diego Comic-Con each year.
That's cool.
But yeah, and they would love to do that. And so that is something in the big plan. And if you make soap merch, contact us. We would love to display you. I've tried to research, not the biggest thing that I've found, but you know what? Just like with the comic books, it all started to tick up at some point. So yeah, if you want to make One Life to Live merchandise, like I'm all in. Those ABC rag dolls they took off the shelves for Todd Manning. If you have one of those and you want to replicate them, contact me. I'm a weirdo, guys. Like, I want that.
This is such a cool world that I am so unaware of. Yeah. Look,
I know this is corny, but do any of them have soap companies?
what is that? Oh my gosh.
Trust
interesting.
me,
Like
I
soap
would
opera
love
people
for that.
with the soap, literally soap.
Right.
company.
That would be the perfect marriage. I
Yeah, it
haven't
would
found
be.
anyone, but
No.
if you're out there, let us know.
Yeah, please.
We
Soap
should
Cone
do it.
Live
We can make
soap.
millions.
Right?
Put a
yeah.
logo on a soap bar.
Is there anything that we have not covered that you ladies would like to cover that we have not mentioned? Because I do have one more question, which is way off topic.
No, I mean, I think that, the most important thing is that people know soapconlive.com and everything else flows from there and our first event, May 1st, this weekend, we're going to be starting with our live panels. They're live, they're free, and they're virtual. So go to soapconlive.com to find out how you can watch.
Cool. Well, we look forward to it. Lacretia, did you have any closing comments before we ask one last question?
No, I think she said it all. Just go to soapconlive.com. It's all there. Trust me, I put it there. It's there.
She did.
All right.
I got one more after Jim's final question.
No,
Okay.
I want the final question.
All right, fine. I'll ask mine. So, also with conventions, like we fanboy or fangirl over stuff. So, in your experience or with this coming up, like who is your fangirl moment or moments like in the past or about to happen?
That's good.
Oh, well, let's just say one time I was working the red carpet of the daytime Emmys, and this was the brief period of which Justin Hartley, as most of your fans know, the Green Arrow before Stephen Amell on Smallville. He was playing Adam Newman, and it was a very different character at the time. So don't blame me if you only know this Adam and the characterization now. But I wanted to interview him so bad. I took off my heels and ran after him on the red carpet.
Did you catch him?
I did.
Good.
And he had already been picked up for This Is Us, and it had been announced. So he did not have a lot of time to chat about Y&R, but he was adorable.
What about you,
I
Susan?
love Justin Hartley. Like, I probably would have fangirled too. You know, I think everybody talks about the cast of This Is Us, and everybody's getting, like, all these actors are getting credit, and I'm like, where's the love for Justin Hartley? This guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing, and he was a recast on Young and the Restless. He took over a character, Adam Newman, that was, you know, the other actor who had played him was beloved in that role, beloved. And Justin
he was
took
Sheriff
over
Lamb
the role.
on Veronica Mars, Michael Mooney. You guys probably know him from that, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's who he took over for, yeah.
Right, so he left the show, Michael left, and Justin took over. And I remember watching him that first day on Young and the Restless, and I thought within 10 minutes, I'm like, he got it. Like, I never thought they'd be able to recast that part so brilliantly, and he nailed it. Within 30 minutes of watching him, I was like, he's Adam Newman. It was brilliant. He's not my fan crush though. And I'm not going to share it yet because we haven't booked him yet, but I'm waiting to book him. But meeting Ken Shriner, Scotty Baldwin, was pretty big because I grew up watching General Hospital, Scotty and Laura and Luke. And, you know, he used to live on my block, and I just saw him outside one day and got to talking and introduced myself. And of course we had worked on Justice League Unlimited together, but we didn't record together because he was in New York at the time that we were recording it. And I was here in LA recording Warner Brothers here. So, and now since then we've become very good friends. So that was really special, meeting him, meeting anyone that you've grown up with. It's like, I get told all the time that I'm part of somebody's childhood as Wonder Woman, and you know that never gets old. So, you know, Kin, I think, you know, I've seen Kin interact with fans, and he's always just like touched when people come up to him, and I was one of those people.
Oh, that's so cool. Anything else, guys, before we let them go? I do have to ask real quick. We all live here in Hollywood. I think we live. Susan, are you on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Here? Okay. Does it ever?
I'm in LA.
Is it ever surreal, like for you to actually drive by the actual General Hospital and look up and see? When I first moved to town, I saw that. I was like, it's. I didn't know it was a real hospital, and it's called General Hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the picture that they use is USC, so that's what's interesting. Yeah, so you do actually drive by that iconic little, you know, ambulatory scene that they showed for years. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. But
I remember being on the set with Kin. Took me to the set one time to work, and I just remember thinking, you know, like I'd seen these sets my whole life, and then to be on the set. And in these rooms that were so familiar, you know, just it was so extraordinary.
Lacretia, since this is the happy hour, please share with us what is making your hour happy.
Revolver Brewing Company's Blood and Honey American Ale. Guys, this is a local Texas craft brew, but it has pretty good distribution. So I'd look up Revolver Brewing Company because they do distribute it outside of Texas.
And get up now because that sounds really good.
Susan,
it's 7%.
And you can beg off this question. You don't have to answer this question, but you know, the fans would just hate me if I didn't ask.
Yes.
Is there it's on your IMDb. Is there anything you can tell us about the upcoming Masters of the Universe revelation of which you are part?
You know, I can't.
Okay. No,
I've done.
That's fine.
I've done. Excuse me. Lucretia, you talk.
Go. Yeah, Lucretia, what's coming up next for you?
What's coming up next for me is SoapCon Live.
Yeah.
I wish there was more to tell, but this is my life now. So I'm so glad I can bring it to you guys.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Lucretia, thank you for coming in tonight. I know that we have been trying to get you on the show for so stinking long, and I'm so glad you came in tonight.
Yeah.
And Susan, please promise us that you will come back and give us updates on SoapCon, but also we would love to talk some geeky voiceover stuff too, because we love this stuff. I know Derek is just chomping at the bit to start talking about it, but we're gonna keep it on SoapCon tonight.
Yeah, I need to play more Injustice 2 before you come back and see what all I can unlock, and then just pick your brain about it.
You haven't unlocked everything, Derek?
No, sorry. My wife is really addicted to Assassin's Creed, and I so often, went to let her have her way. So
thanks for having me.
Very smart.
All right, Susan, if you could remind us one last time of the websites and where people can go and find, and the dates and everything.
Lucretia, I'll let you do it.
You guys, starting May 1st, that's where the live streams will be, but you can always go to soapconlive.com to see what we're doing. So May 1st, we will have the panel starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, May 1st. Those are all free, but you can buy meet and greets, you can buy autographs, and you can buy video greetings from your favorite soap stars. So yeah, just go to soapconlive.com.
And I love that Lucretia's having a fireside chat.
I know, so cute.
You like my little fireplace?
And next time I come on, I will be able to talk about the Sorceress and Masters of the Universe. We don't have a release date. They haven't, I've done a little press about it, but not really anything. It's going to be on Netflix, I can tell you that. But I can talk about it more freely the next time I come on.
Sounds great. And I know that Brad, who he is the world's biggest Masters of the Universe fan. So if we did, and Jake, he's been sending Jake how many? At least 50 Masters of the Universe. He's been in every Walmart, Target, and toy store. He's on the East Coast now, and every day it's like dozens of I found this one. I found and so he would have
just call him if you tried to buy any.
He just sent a picture earlier that he found Castle Grayskull, so he's pretty happy about that.
I have no idea. I don't know what Sorceress is going to look like. I mean, I know what she's going to look like because I've seen her, but I mean, I don't know what the toys are, so it's going to be thrilling to see all that come to happen. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Well, Lucretia and Susan, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Best of luck on this weekend. Hey, everybody, make sure you check out SoapCon Live this weekend, especially if you are fans of soaps of bygone eras and soaps of today. It's all there. So many different people. I was amazed at how many talent you guys have lined up. So this is an amazing thing. Congratulations. We wish you guys all the luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Whew, that was fun. I mean, isn't that cool? I don't know hardly anything about that world, but
I wish I had something to say. I was like,
I know, but it's kind of cool to hear about this. It's another fandom and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, listen, guys, we don't have tons of time, but we have to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Jake gave us some great pictures of some things tonight that kind of go along with what we're going to talk about. But hey, Derek, I don't suppose you have the run sheet in front of you.
I do now. I didn't have it when we started, but I have opened it up.
And do you know how to read?
Yes.
Hey, would you mind? I would love to give everybody a convention update. Katie is not able to be here tonight, so if you don't mind, it's kind of like a cool big convention update. I mean, it's not long, but it's a big piece of news.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we got. So Reed Pop, one of the largest organizers of fan conventions, if not the largest, updated fans on their 2021 plans for in-person events. They said this: right now, we see a path forward for safe, amazing events that are going to look a bit different than usual. So that's where we're heading. Keep in mind what we communicate is subject to change as state and local guidelines are adjusted. So what's coming up? Florida SuperCon at the Miami Beach Convention Center, September 10th through 12th. New York Comic Con at Javits Center, October 7th through 10th. Emerald City Comic Con, Washington State Convention Center, December 2nd through 5th, and C2E2 at McCormick Place, December 10th through 12th. Granted, those are all still months and months away, so anything can happen between now and then. But these are a lot of things that are projected to hopefully still happen in person, as I understand it. Yep. Is that right, Jim?
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
And then we've got a note here about guidelines for all shows. And is this all still from ReadPop?
Yeah, that's all ReadPop.
What I'm reading here?
This is the guidelines for all their in-person shows.
Okay, so they said, we will be running all our shows with reduced capacity. Attendance and badges will be very limited so that we can ensure physical distancing, which, of course, is probably expected. We are requiring approved face coverings for all individuals attending our events, including our exhibitors and staff. Again, no big surprise there. Temperature screening upon entry will be required to enter our events. Anyone with an elevated temperature will not be permitted to enter the event. We will have increased sanitization and cleaning with enforced physical distancing throughout the event. We have also adopted a firm no handshakes, no high fives, no hugs policy. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those bullet points are things that every business is doing throughout the world right now, and it's not a huge surprise. But that last one is kind of sad. I know, like, even going to church, they're not really doing a lot of handshakes right now, but there are a few people I get around and still hug. Yeah. But to actually have a policy and say no handshakes, no high fives, and no hugs, I guess they probably need it because of the way, you get some fans who might get really excited at a convention and just want to hug the person they're having their little meet and greet with. Might be Lucretia seeing Justin Hartley again, but
chasing him down on the red carpet.
No handshakes, no high fives, and no hugs, and then like a COVID logo on it or something.
Yeah.
That does sound like a t-shirt. You're right. It should be one.
It's interesting, though. ReadPop is also the company that does Star Wars Celebration, which is they have already announced is next year. So they put it out. It was supposed to be this past in 2020, but they moved it to 2022. And it's still in Anaheim. Jake, is that right? Do you remember? It's still going to be in Anaheim, I think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure of that. So that's kind of big news. Like, these are conventions. These are in-person conventions, some of the biggest ones in the country. And starting in September, they're going to start happening. I think Dragon Con is the other big one of the fall. That one has not been announced yet if it's happening in person or not. It's usually on Labor Day weekend in Atlanta. So these are the four biggest conventions of the fall, and they're all going to try to start having in-person conventions. I think it's big news. That's pretty cool. All right, this next thing, and we're almost there, guys. We're going to talk about it briefly because that's all it deserves, in my opinion. But how many on this panel right here? How many of you guys watched the Academy Awards last night?
Nope.
I didn't even know it was on until I saw, I think Katie was posting about it last night. I was like, oh, but is that tonight?
Yeah. Were you guys kind of? I don't know about you guys, but like my family grew up. I'm from the Midwest, and the Academy Awards, we never missed it. It was like a big Hollywood night. A lot of our favorite films were there.
Yeah. I would joke around that it's my Super Bowl. When the actual Super Bowl's on, I'm usually playing a board game or something with my back to the TV, and I might watch commercials because they're entertaining.
I've seen that.
But yeah, exactly. I've done it at your place.
I know.
Yeah.
Get out of the way. You're
But with
blocking
the
the
Oscars,
Oscars.
I've always really wanted to follow what was going on, and I will actually yell at the TV or stand up and cheer depending on the way things go, the way normal people do with football. But yeah, the last couple of years, I've found myself caring a little bit less, and this year, I hardly even noticed that they were happening. I heard a little bit of news about it, but that was it. Because just for one, none of us were going to the movies last year. A few people were, but around LA, you couldn't. Because and that's one of the biggest markets for it. And as a lot of people have complained, that so many of the films that get nominated are things that are kind of niche artistic films that are
bitty.
Yeah, not as big of an appeal. Things I remember in 2003, well, it was the 2004 Oscars, but The Return of the King sweeping with, I think, was it 11 or 13? 11. I remember that it matched the record of the most Oscars won. And for me, of course, huge Lord of the Rings fan. I loved it. That was a big blockbuster. It was a huge epic film and an amazing movie, and from amazing source material. And now you still get some really good films that are big budget and big blockbusters, but they don't often get awards attention. Sometimes a Christopher Nolan movie might be a blockbuster and still get some buzz, but it won't be nearly to the same level.
Right.
And so it seems like in many ways there's the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and the films they want to recognize. There's this big split between that and the films that most people in America and the rest of the world are actually going to see in theaters. And it's interesting because there was some talk. Was there some talk for a little while about like having a different kind of award for just like achievement for popular film, which the very first Oscars for the first few years did something like that. I forget what the titles were, but it was like there were two different categories of like achievement in, like the artistic side and the commercial side, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never knew that.
Yeah, if I'd have to check the details because I didn't think to look this up before we got on the podcast, but it's interesting that people proposed that, and there was kind of an outcry against it by some people. Like, well, we should just recognize when a film is good, period. But that was the way they were way, way back. And then they decided to stop doing that, interestingly. So it's just an interesting thing to think about, to maybe consider the reasons why they were doing that in the first place and why they stopped doing that. But yeah, all that to say, I didn't watch, I didn't care. Now I'm looking at it and like there are titles of films that I recognize. Some of them I knew were coming out. I might have seen a trailer for, but I don't have any emotional attachment to pretty much anything that was nominated for any award.
Well,
and it's kind of sad.
And just real quick from Deadline, one of the industry publications here, Sunday's Oscars were a ratings washout. In the fast affiliate results released by Nielsen today, the 93rd Academy Awards were watched by 9.85 million. That is the lowest ever on record. It is a drop of over 58% from the previous low of last year's Oscars, which was on February 9th. While the number from last night's Union Station set show may be jaw-dropping, no one's really surprised. Coming off years of declining results, in other words, it's been going down for years, plus the last several months of a little-watched virtual award shows. Theaters were closed due to the coronavirus, and a slate of Oscar nominees that lacked any big-name recognition. The Oscar ceremony organizers have long known they were in for a drubbing. So it's exactly what you said, Derek. This is not one thing that a lot of people are saying is like, well, this was the coronavirus year, it's the pandemic year, so not a lot of big movies were released. That is true. But this has been, we've been heading, maybe this was just the nail in the coffin. That we've been heading this way for a long time. I remember like the Country Music Awards used to be on the networks all the time. And now this past year, it's on some obscure, it's not even on the country music station anymore. I don't know if we have a country music station. Like there's award shows that have just been disappearing. Do they still show the Tonys on TV? That I don't know. But
well, anyway,
go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I can't like the last time that the Academy Awards really like affected me or made me like take notice was whatever that was, like 4 years ago or so, when The Shape of Water won Best Picture. Because as a sci-fi, 2 years, okay, as a sci-fi fan, a horror fan, the fact that won Best Picture, I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. That's like a big leap ahead. Whereas like for years, you'd never imagine a movie about like a creature from the Black Lagoon, Fishman, I would like win Best Picture. So that was the last time I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then since then, like a couple years before then and after that, I haven't paid any attention, honestly.
But it was a couple years ago when Black Panther from Marvel was up for Best Picture.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I remember writing on our website, I said, this is like a demonstration that blockbusters can be more than just spectacle. They can have something to say and be about something and have high art. And I agree that I think like that was like something that I was so excited about. But for the most part, we'll get to Brad's comment in just a second. But for the most part, I've been on this kick of complaining, and just on my gym box, it's Luke. My last name's Fry, so it's a Fry rant. It's a frant. My frant has been about it's been about the Oscar ceremony. Something like Derek said, it was like a big deal in my life growing up. I was in the middle of the Midwest, cold weather, in the middle of the cornfields. That's our family lived way out in a desolate place, and the Oscars was our connection to like Hollywood. It was fantastic, and it was exciting. And I just remember those years of staying up and guessing what movies were going to win. But it feels as if the Academy has walked away from like mainstream America. It's not like they're not making good films. I'm not going to say these aren't good films, but like, I don't know. They're not films that connect with more than just such a small little niche reach of people. Like, for example, here's just real quick. We don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Best Picture. Here's the Best Picture. I have it right here. The Best Picture nominees were. I'm almost there, guys. Here we go. The Father. Do you guys know what that movie is? I think that's the one with. Okay,
that's the Anthony Hopkins one, right?
Anthony Hopkins movie, the winner of the Best Actor award. But okay.
And I love Anthony Hopkins, so I would probably like this movie if I knew anything about it.
His speech of accepting the award was pretty classy. He wasn't there last night for the speech; he had gone to bed, but he gave his speech today on Instagram, which was funny. Judas and the Black Messiah. That was one I was kind of aware of, but not really. Mank, which was the movie about the making of Citizen Kane on Netflix.
Oh.
Minari, which starred Stephen Young. I always say his name wrong. From Walking
I think
Dead.
it's Yun. If I saw it written in Korean, I'd know how to pronounce it.
Right. Promising Young Woman. Sound of Metal, which featured from what's his name? Riz Ahmed. Yeah. From Star Wars
Rogue
One. And then The Trial of Chicago 7. And then the winner, Nomadland, which I saw and I enjoyed. But I can tell you this, none of those pictures are things that are going to they're all decent films. And I liked Nomadland. But it was okay. It was gentle and sweet, but nothing like what Darren said. 2004 Academy Awards with the Lord of the Rings: Return of the King sweeping it, and everyone's excited and just I don't know. I just don't think we've had that in quite some time, and I wish we could somehow get good films that are also big films. Best animated film was Soul from Pixar, which if you haven't seen it yet, that's a good film. And then
that one has a great soundtrack. And our oldest
the soundtrack won the Academy Award.
Our oldest foster daughter just stood up and cheered. Like she just clapped at one scene. And this is the girl who, she's 3 years old and she doesn't really talk, dealing with autism and different things. But she just one scene in that movie, there's a long jazz number. And then she just stood up and started clapping right toward the end of it. It was adorable. So Soul has a special place in my soul for that reason.
Really good. And let me just real quick. Best original screenplay is for Promising Young Woman by Emerald Fennell. Best adapted screenplay, The Father, Christopher Hampton and Florian Zeller. Best actor in a supporting role was Daniel Kaluuya. Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah. Best makeup and hairstyling, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Best costume design, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for Anne Roth. Best directing, this one was a big one. Chloe Zhou, Nomadland, the very first Asian director for best director. This was big. Best live action short was the Two Distant Strangers. Best animated short, If Anything Happens, I Love You. Best animated feature was Soul. Best documentary, Colette. That's for short subjects. Best documentary feature, My Octopus Teacher, which I think is either on Amazon or Netflix.
Yeah. I think it's on Netflix.
And
I heard that's just not something I want to see. Sorry, at all.
I know it's a guy who spends all his time with an octopus.
Yeah, descriptions of it made it sound kind of disturbing too.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm judging it based on hearing things secondhand, so maybe it's not that way. But
best visual effects, Tenet, which is very impressive. Best actress supporting role is Yoo Jung Minari. And then real quick, best original score, Soul. Best original song, Fight for You from Judas and the Young Messiah. And best actress, Frances McDormand, Nomadland. Best actor, Anthony Hopkins, The Father. Basically, I just wanted to go through this to say, Academy, come on, let's Let's get some films, not like are better quality, but as good, but like just more people have seen. And
this year's kind of different. And this is what I have to say about this year. This year was like basically the Super Bowl happened, but you took all the playoff teams out of the game. They weren't allowed to play this year. And basically a few of the kind of the smaller teams, that normally don't get to go to the Super Bowl got to play this year because they basically took all the movies out of the theaters that they wanted to make the big money. So this was kind of almost like an off year or kind of something for a lot. I mean, not to say that, some of the, like the animated, I think, were like big movies, and there were some things that came out like Tenet and all that, which were big films, but the competition was just really, not to insult like the smaller films, but it just wasn't a normal year where you could say like this felt, and I think that's what the lack of interest was. It's like, are we going to say Bill and Ted Best Picture? Or are we going to, like it just didn't really feel like there was really
Wonder Woman 1984.
It just didn't feel like a fair year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's a good point, Luke. A good point, Cheeseman. And Brad did say this as well. The ceremony was different. They didn't show any clips last night of the nominated films, and that is the heart of the show itself. Like, how do they not show clips? That's a good question. And I know, like, the songs, the best nominated songs, they usually perform each of the 5 songs throughout the night. And from what I understand, they performed the songs in a special show that happened before the Academy Awards.
Oh,
I didn't see anything. Did they actually have people there, or was it all like?
No, they did. It was at Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. They had, from what I understand, like 200 to 300 people. They might have had more than that. They were all socially distant around the center. Union Station's a big cavernous train station, so it's really cool. And they kind of themed the night like it was a movie. Like,
who hosted? You need a Ricky Gervais for this.
There were
one.
no hosts.
Which
I think is a mistake.
You need somebody that can. Yeah. The world needs a laugh, and like that's been a crazy freaking year.
Yeah.
And you need someone that can kind of poke and make jokes, and also hit the softer moments of what this year's been as far as the filmmaking business. It's been hard on the filmmaking people and hard for productions. They've gone through a lot just trying to film anything. So I don't know. I feel like if they did it the right way, it could have drawn a crowd, or if they marketed it in a way or something that made it seem interesting. I just didn't have an interest because I didn't really see anything.
Well, one thing that you said that makes a lot of, they haven't had a host in a couple of years. Like, remember, it was last year they went without a host, and it might have even been for 2 years. I know last year they went without a host.
It was going to be Chris Rock, right? And then
Kevin Hart.
Oh, Kevin Hart. Sorry,
Kevin Hart. But then some.
This is the last call. Just kidding.
Derek, if you need to take care of some stuff, that's no problem.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be done. I was in and out of the room earlier. She just gets really wired at bedtime for some reason.
The funniest thing is Derek's look in his face. It's just like, there you go. But no, and we're going to end with I agree. I wish we could get a host back, a funny host. The years of Steve Martin Short.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal was amazing, but everyone's been cancel culture. Cancel culture has made it where there's no acceptable anybody.
I would really like to see Kevin Hart host. I think he'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? He said some stuff. Jill, kids getting high for bedtime. Yeah. What? She's back. It's always Jill is so great. She's a colleague of ours. We all went through some Hollywood production, and okay, guys, let's end with the Academy Award. She wants to hear the Falcon discussion. We want to get to the Falcon discussion.
I think the people who have tuned in, that's what they were tuning in for.
Yeah, we're sorry that we lost everybody. All right, here we go. We are going to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the grand finale of the 6-episode streaming series on Disney Plus. It was the second. It was supposed to be the first, but it was the second Marvel streaming series that we got. It was a little bit different than WandaVision. WandaVision was very mysterious and like lost and unfolded with mysteries. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a bit more straightforward, more like a Marvel movie broken into 6 small parts. All right, Jake and Derek. And then Jill said she loved it. That's good to know. Jake and Derek, who wants to go first? I want to see what you guys thought of this finale.
Well, I enjoyed it a lot. I would say I really, really loved most of it. And there were a couple little moments that I was like, that's not the way I would like to have seen that go. But I love the fact that Sam did really wield the shield and how whole new suits and everything. Oh yeah, spoilers, by the way. There's going to be a lot of spoilers here.
Lots of spoilers, yeah.
Yeah, I there are so many reasons why I wanted that to happen, and I love just what it represented. I loved that. It's gonna be okay. All right. I loved that John Walker had a moment of redemption, even though he's still kind of, tripping toward the dark side, it looks like a little bit, but he did have a moment where he was risking himself and trying to save people. And then we saw, I just loved the imagery of seeing that fake Captain America shield get smashed. And then when all these people look like they're about to die, all of a sudden the truck stops rolling off the big building and you just see the shield at first rising up and then realize there's Sam, the new Captain America, doing, being a true hero. And that's what I loved about it. And from the first episode, you have this speech from Sam talking about the world needing new heroes again. And I think this speaks to our culture too. And I talked about this a little bit after that first episode. We do need good heroes to believe in. So many, and this is one thing that a lot of the Marvel movies have done well with characters like Captain America, is having heroes that we can get behind. They're not so goody-goody that they just seem too separate from reality, but they seem very real and they just do the right thing and want to help other people, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous. And I think that is a perennial quality of good storytelling that we need. And too often we just get people want to make dark and brooding heroes, or they want to make anti-heroes. And there's an artistic side to that. And those stories can be valuable too, but we need good heroes that we can believe in, people we can look up to and say, yes, that's the kind of person I want to be like. And thank you, Marvel, for giving us some characters like that. I'm not going to preach and get all angry at people who won't give us those right now, because the preaching was the one scene that did kind of bug me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to make good storytelling, have the themes speak for themselves. Let the characters show us what they're doing to get your point across. Instead of having your main character go on a big rant telling all the bad guys or the bureaucrats or whatever everything they're doing wrong and everything they need to do right, because then you've spelled everything out, and we call that on the nose dialogue, and it kind of sucks in storytelling.
We call it lazy.
Yeah, it's lazy writing. You had a great character, you had a really complex situation, and your big resolution moment was your main character, who's been this huge, admirable hero this whole time, all of a sudden just going off on a big speech preaching at everyone. You know what? I like good preaching. I do go to church regularly to hear it. When I'm tuning into this, I want to hear good storytelling. Okay, not some sermon about the moral that you wanted to make sure I understood. Having grown up in church, I've seen a lot of cheesy movies that preach a little too hard, and it doesn't come off well. A movie should be, or a show like this too, should be a good story. Let us see what the characters are experiencing. Let us draw it and draw from that and see what the themes are in there, so that we can all learn and we can all grow. Because right there is where you start to lose people. There was another thing I didn't like very well that I need to let Jake talk, and I'll chime in a little later. But overall, I did love it.
No, you're fine. I agree with everything you said. I feel like there was a lot in this last episode. Like, they crammed a lot in, which I feel like they could have stretched out to another. There were 6 episodes. Is that how many?
6, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that, like had things stretched out. But I agree with you, like that whole scene. Coming at it from just like a comic book fan in the visual sense, and growing up loving the art and everything, I really loved how comic book accurate Sam's costume was.
Yeah,
because a lot of times with comic book movies and TV shows or whatever, it's a weird thing where they can't make it so accurate because it sounds stupid to say, but it's too comic booky, like going back to the original X-Men movie from 2000, like they would never even imagine of showing Wolverine, Hugh Jackman and Wolverine in like a yellow costume with a mask and stuff. So it was like, we just got to have him in like a leather jacket or, like really toned down stuff. But this one, they're just like, nope, it's pretty much exactly how he looks in the comics, So that was really cool. Also, Red Wing is back, so that was awesome.
Yep, I loved it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I thought the show was great. I do feel like I agree with everything you guys were saying about the last episode. I felt like they were just cramming a lot in, or at least making a longer episode or split into 2 parts to just have a little more fleshed out. But overall, I liked it a lot.
Well, Cheeseman, I know you had a couple of thoughts. We were talking about it before the show.
Yeah, like, I mean, I like the costume. I like how they kind of mixed in the shield, because I didn't know how the shield would, because I didn't want him to not become Falcon, because I'm like, I'd rather fly than have a shield. But then the fact that they could combine both together, I did like that, and that was pretty cool. And I liked how, they did kind of, because I was confused, like how they did such a good job with kind of the new Cap thing of kind of dividing. I'm like, well, is he good? Is he bad? And, like anybody who like would lose a best friend to like what, would be called, or they basically were like a terrorist organization, you'd go after those people, but his way of doing things was just brutal. But I just was never a big fan of the Flag Smashers. They're just kind of like whiny and just felt like more like these hipster kids and didn't really feel like real villains. Like, if what's his face, Kylo Ren put together a team of emo kids, like it'd be them, but without kind of the cool mask and different things. But I just was never that into him. But
you mean like the Knights of Ren?
Well, the Knights of Ren were cool.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they're pretty like.
You had one of them on the show, right? Did you?
Eventually, we did.
Eventually, we did. Yes.
Eventually, yes, we did. But I really like, like how Bucky kind of came full circle, like his story and him kind of crossing off, the names on the list. I think that was really cool. I really did like his storyline. I would have liked to see a little more of the Wakanda presence, how they kind of set that up. Kind
of when he confronted the guy that he killed his son, I felt like that scene was very rushed. It was like, I killed him. Yeah. Oh, you did, and that's just like. Then he's like watching him through the window. I felt like that could have been
a good comment. She says they didn't show the Flag Smashers doing anything good that made me or any of us feel their angst, and I agree.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care that he's like Captain America's like holding her, like coming down, like like she's some sort of big sacrifice of something. I'm just like, good.
Right, like they had a couple.
I never really
comments
cared
about them early on, but.
What's that?
They had a couple comments about them early on that supposedly they were trying to, do a couple of good things for people, like stealing medicine and delivering it to people who needed it. But I don't think we actually saw that, if I remember correctly. We just heard about that happening before we met them, and then we just saw them killing lots of innocent people.
Yeah, go full Robin
which I did.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I did appreciate the way the show was portraying, radicalization, because that's something that also is like we can all relate to modern times, like I think at the end they wanted these characters to be more sympathetic than they had laid them out to be through the actual action of the story, and like, yes, we could feel for them some, just knowing some of the surrounding circumstances in the backstory. But we also didn't see a whole lot of that either. And there were times when I was like, hang on, I'm a little confused about what's been happening in the world since the blip. And they had some explanation for it, but it was never like really overt. It was more just talked about rather than really shown. And I think that's one thing the show probably could have pulled off a little better.
What was the name of the organization? Okay. The one thing that was a bit, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, the bureaucratic intrigue was less interesting. It was a hard sell, like, we're talking about resettlement of. It sounded, let's be honest with you, it sounded like an Israeli-Palestinian type conversation a little bit. The resettlement of people who have been misplaced, or it sounded like maybe immigration policies coming. So like they were trying to make it bigger than what they were trying to make it big. But I do like the idea that they were trying to discuss what happens 5 years after people have disappeared and they come back. Where do they go if someone's living in their house? That's an interesting idea to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
I wish they had shown that. Can you imagine the drama
we heard it in one
like that, where somebody tries to like walk into their home and there's a whole other, like a bunch of strangers just sitting there, like the locks are changed, Yeah, like that would have been really gripping, and then maybe we could have related to these characters a little more.
I know, I would have related a lot more, but we got it in one line from Sam at the end of one of the bureaucrats at the end of the thing. My biggest complaint was they had 6 episodes, and I think Jake was talking about this. They had these, and I was reading this on Collider today as well. They had all these characters they kept introducing and with backstories and side stories, and they just couldn't fit it all in their 6 episodes, and they get to the end. And they have to wrap everything up in a 4-minute speech. I hated that. It's the same reason why I hated, it's one of the same reasons, not the only, that I also hated the end of Wonder Woman, where she saves the day by giving a speech to somebody as they're doing some kind of magic transformation or something. And like, oh, let's talk you out of it. I get it. I did not like that. A lot of people did not like the fact that John Walker was redeemed. They thought that was weak writing, that he did, but I disagree with that contingent of people. I loved the fact that he sort of came back a little bit. He was coming back. And I think it's somewhat original too. Like the fact that he sort of came back, but not fully. Like there's still something dangerous there that's probably going to happen with him. I agree.
And that's why they probably had him do that scene with Bucky, because Bucky's kind of that same kind of a character. Although he was brainwashed, and I don't feel like Bucky was in the wrong because he never consciously made any bad decision, that he wasn't to do because of Hydra.
Yeah, I agree. But
I'm a little surprised. Oh,
go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a little surprised Sam's buddy Torres survived, because when he was introduced in the first episode, I was like, that guy's not going to make it. I thought he was going to die in the first one, because he's like this, this person we've never met before who is not, in the superhero vein of things. And I just thought, okay, he's going to. Yes, he is. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm not
saying,
too familiar.
He doesn't have a suit. He doesn't have super soldier serum or anything like that. So I was like, okay.
And then, right? Jake doesn't.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I'm not too familiar, but I did watch a video and they were like, oh, yeah, this guy eventually becomes this character.
Okay. I did like the character, but it felt like the way he was set up in the beginning, it felt like, okay, they're introducing him so that we're going to see a friend of Sam's who's going to die. That was the way it felt to me. And then especially after New Captain America, Walker lost his buddy and then went off and took revenge on somebody, I really thought that we were going to see a parallel incident happen for Sam losing Torres, and we were going to have to see him make the right choice instead of going after revenge, trying to just like restrain somebody and and that would have been really interesting. That's really what I thought they were going to do. I was surprised.
Jill wants to know, what did you think about the power broker being Sharon?
I didn't like it. Yeah. I hope that it's something like something like she's being brainwashed or something, because I don't like the idea of her always being, like that, going back throughout the movies,
She kissed Cap.
It felt to me like she kind of changed after after knowing Cap. Like it wasn't it didn't seem to me that she had always been evil, but more like after everything happened with the blip and Civil War and everything, that later she kind of turned. That was the vibe I got from it. I still didn't like it
they were trying to
because she is
she had been on the run ever since Winter Soldier, right? Oh no, Civil War. Mm-hmm. She helped Cap and the team go against the government and what they were doing, and so she was an outlaw. Oh, okay.
What did you do?
I think Derek's got to deal with something, but she was the out. Wow, my face got big.
Lovely Jimmy.
No, but that's a good question. Like
about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No. Let's talk about this.
I look really pale.
From what I've been reading and hearing, are not fans of that at all. For one thing, Sharon was supposed to be. She's like the niece of Peggy Carter. She had a romantic, sweet thing going on with Captain America, and then all of a sudden she's evil. It's almost like the writers saying, "Hey, look how clever we are." Weird, but they weren't that clever, because the podcast I was listening to like 2 weeks before that, everybody thought, they're going to make Sharon Carter. She's the power broker. Like it wasn't a.
Well, someone called it out on this show. Was it Katie or?
Yeah, we talked about it before.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they're like, or Danae or someone was like, I think that it's Sharon. And everyone's like, what? Nah.
Some people were hoping they were going to bring back, like, what was from Daredevil, Netflix. Is it Kingpin? What was the guy's name? Yeah,
Vincent D'Onofrio has.
That would have been cool.
Can you imagine?
Wilson Fisk, which apparently the guy who plays Daredevil, isn't he supposed to be? Hey, there's Derek.
He's in the next Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't he in the next? He's in Spider-Man or Doctor Strange? Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays a lawyer. No, I mean, he is a lawyer. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this though. What'd you think? First of all, and this is be careful when this, because I'm going to get Jill in here. The Sharon thing, it was not a surprise to me, and I figured it was her way of surviving being betrayed by her country after Cap left. But I hated the final scene the final scene where Sharon is cleared of all wrongdoing. She gets a complete what's it called when all charges are dropped, Derek, in the military? What's the opposite of a court martial?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're
Pardon?
for.
Pardon. She got a full pardon.
Yeah, that's not a military term.
Yeah. I think that's
I'm not in the military. I don't know. Thank you, Jill. She's telling me having my brain fart. So she got a full pardon, and she goes out, and she immediately gets on the phone and says, I'm in. All the secrets, government secrets, military secrets are ours now. We're going to make a killing off this. What do you guys
think? She could to survive, and then, and then her doing that at the end just made it sound like she was evil, where we could kind of show how she was doing what she could over there. And yeah, I agree with Jill 100%. And then something else about the end, I know like you were probably wanting to talk more about, Jim, is like what they did with the museum scene and all that, and how nice.
My favorite scene of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got tears in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about it, Luke.
No, I was going to let you. I was just making sure we talked about it.
Yeah. I tell you
statue,
what.
the Isaiah statue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Isaiah Bradley statue, which is in basically the Captain of America Museum at the end. Because and Luke, you were talking about it too. Early on, we saw this actor and we saw this kind of storyline of Isaiah Bradley, and it seems to have been dropped. Like it was only like this one scene just to irritate Sam. And I was like, wait, no, let's go with that a little bit. We were expecting like a flashback or something.
Yeah, I want to see that, or a showing him and doing like some stuff, like I thought we were going to see something with him and Steve or something kind of cool.
And it was really cool to have Thomas Parham on with us last week and explaining like his dad was the second
chaplain in the
chaplain,
Navy.
the second African-American chaplain in the Navy. And because of certain rules or certain agreements of who could and who could not be a chaplain or who could not serve. And I'm like, it does sometimes get lost.
The first.
Yeah, it sometimes gets
wasn't allowed until the first one came along, and then he was allowed. Then he's like, "Hey, check this out. There's a African American chaplain now," and then he was able to use that to become kind of the second one in the military,
which is a great story. And we probably should have gotten Tom on tonight. I know that you've been talking to him some today to kind of go over this. That ending was special. That was just like very cool because I personally was not completely on board with them trying to make this too much part of current events. Mm-hmm. And because it felt a little forced, especially knowing that we've seen Sam/Falcon through many movies. And then we get to this series and it felt a little bit like, so you didn't really have a good feeling about Captain America and what it represented? Then why were you there all along? And that's me as a dumb white guy saying that. I'm going to fully acknowledge that. That's me. And I wish, like, I was great talking with Thomas about it last week. And, but the Isaiah Bradley story really, really hit me in the gut. I loved it. And it was hard for me to watch when he walked out. It was like, man, I'm getting tears in my eyes. This is so good. It's so encouraging and so full of hope.
Yeah. And another thing we talked about that we really liked and was how new Captain America kind of involved the people and kind of what he was doing, like the helicopter scene where he was using, Red Wing to take out the pilot and all that, and then had the lady who knew how to fly the plane count to 5 and then
love that
and stuff. So that was kind of interesting, the approach they did, kind of on that.
Ordinary people stepping up as heroes. I loved it. Ordinary people stepping up as heroes. That was great. Yes. Absolutely.
Jake, I got a question for you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the U.S. agent background? Because at the end we saw Walker, he changed his suit to black and then brought in, and then Jim, tell us a little more about, the new character. Well, we saw the Julie Dreyfus, come in a little bit early on, and then she kind of ended the show. Can you guys tell us a little more about what that meant and what's the significance is in comics and where you see that going?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate to how it went in the comics. The same story with Walker, right, Jim? Wasn't it the same?
I think, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're pretty, straightforward with that. And then I honestly it's funny because as a toy collector, I remember always seeing an action figure in the '90s and stuff, and it was USA Agent action figure. And it was a Captain America action figure that had already been released, and they just repainted it. And it's so funny because it's the same thing. But I was like, I don't know who that is, But then years later, getting more into comics and stuff, I kind of know the story. So I don't know a ton of the story, but what I do know is it's pretty accurate to what it is, And I'm trying to think if he had. I don't know if obviously he doesn't have the shield on the show, but I don't know if he had a variation of a shield. So I don't know if he gets a different one going forward, or if it's just But yeah, I thought it was cool that he had that redemption. Even though he wasn't the best character, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
And
Jim, what do you think?
I love the redemption at the end. Part of the thing that made me dislike the Flag Smashers a little bit more, and it's when I was watching this with Luke, is the point where the people are going over the ledge in the truck, and he goes to save them, and the Flag Smashers start jumping on his back, beating on him, just because they want to kill these people to make a point. At that point, I was like, you know what? I've lost.
Yeah, those are not sympathetic antagonists at that point.
No,
when they want to just kill people. Yeah.
They were just evil at that point.
Yeah, at that point they became a bloodthirsty mob.
Yeah.
And that's not somebody we can really feel sorry for.
Yeah, she did not deserve that Jesus and Mary pose that she got when he lowered down. Although that was a very cool shot, and we didn't know. Mm-hmm. I didn't quite know how they pulled that off.
I don't know. She to me was not a scary character. She was misguided, but when we get to the end and they start talking, when we get the speechifying about don't call them terrorists. Well, then don't act like a terrorist. They were acting as terrorists act, even though they had a cause.
I remember what is the definition of terrorism? It's the use of big acts of violence and the threat of violence to accomplish political or ideological ends. I'm really changing the phrasing around, but there is a real definition for terrorism, and the actions of those people fit it.
Yeah. And Julia Louise, go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I was going to say it's funny that I remember. I don't know if it was on this show or somewhere else. I saw they were saying how that character. What's her character in Falcon? What's her name? Kara.
Oh, Kara. Yeah.
Kara. Yeah. That she's basically playing the exact same.
Carly. It was Carly.
Carly. That's right. That she's basically playing the exact same character that she did in Solo.
But real quick. Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, Julia Louis Dreyfus. Her character's name was Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or Val, which she didn't like being called. Do we know who that is? I've heard it. Somebody I was reading somewhere. It's one of the quote unquote queens of Hydra. So if that's the case, then this gets very interesting. I've heard that Julia has. I'm on a first name basis with her now. Julia has signed on for a number of productions with Marvel, so her character is going to be around a little bit. So I think that's great. Listen, a lot of people thought her character was a little bit overdone, a little, it was a big. I love her.
She was really in it that much.
What's that?
She's a big get, so that she'll be in something more because they hardly shone a shoulder, in my opinion.
I loved it. I love seeing her. Anytime I see her, she just steals the show. Hey
we just
guys,
need to, we just need to get Jason Alexander on the show, and we're good now.
or Tony Hale as her sidekick.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be
Yeah, I
great?
really want to see Tony Hale in there. Just carrying a bag around next to her. Yeah.
All right, let me see. Is there anything else we need to talk about? It looks like Captain America 4 was announced the day after this series premiered. So there is a Captain America 4 by the same showrunner who ran the writer's room here. So it's going to be interesting to see where they take it. So I think I don't know if we're going to get Captain America 4 first or if we're going to get season 2 of this first. I do have to say this, though. I always thought of Bucky as an extremely boring character that I could take him or leave him. He's now one of my favorite characters. With his staring at people, I love that humor. Like, he just stares at people.
It's all getting close to the camera for Jim. One last time.
The last time we're going to do it.
What's season 2 amazing is Shane Black comes in. I want some Shane Black on the show.
Shane Black would do an amazing job with this series, but the way his character developed, and I was reading on another publication where people thought that he just clogged up the storytelling with his little bitty side story. I thought his little bitty side story was so moving, and the way he had to apologize to that father for killing his son was just heart-wrenching. And it
would have been, like I said before, it would have been a lot better had they shown more of that instead of just like a couple sentences, and then it's him walking by the restaurant, looking in and being like, okay, like it's. I know that deserved better. That deserved more than that.
I agree. I agree.
I would go and have a drink with him.
I agree. But anyways, I hope. And then what a beautiful way to end the series, like down in Louisiana, having eating crawdads pulled out of shrimp, having a shrimp roast. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And
Playful
the thing
Bucky.
that was cool,
Playful Bucky's montage, him lifting the kids up with his arm.
Lifting the kids with his arm. I loved it. I loved how it ended kind of in a hopeful thing. And the whole time, you're not my partner. You're not my partner. The final scene we see, just putting his hand on his back and just like, it's us, man. We're in this together. I loved it. I love the way this ended, and I can't wait to see more of this. What about you guys as we close this out?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I thought it was great. I liked WandaVision for just the uniqueness, different style of it, but this just felt like much more of like a MCU film, just broken up into different parts. But yeah, I liked it a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming soon.
All right. And as we end the show, we're ending with something for those of you who are not into collectibles. You don't have to watch this part of the show. You don't have to listen to this part of the show.
Oh, yeah. We are not done yet.
Yeah.
I know, the never-ending show, but we're going to kind of go through this because Jake.
We'll do a quick one, yeah.
Jake, if you can take us through this and make sure you describe it for those who are listening only, who are not watching. But this ties right into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What is this?
There you go. So these obviously they had to wait till the last episode aired, but these are the from Hasbro, the Marvel Legends action figures. This is the Falcon and Winter Soldier, the collection. So you're seeing Sam in the full, Captain America suit with the shield and the wings. Really awesome figure, and it has a cool looking base. Sorry, the cool looking base. You can see Red Wing flying up behind him and stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, obviously they had to keep that secret until I think it was actually today that they posted it. So there's Sam, Captain America, and we also had some other reveals. Let's see.
Thanks, Jill. I just want to say she totally enjoyed the con chat. Thank you for being here today. We always love having Jill on. That's fantastic. So Jake, just tell me when to move to the next one.
Okay, go ahead. So the next one we have Bucky. There you go. Nice of his appearance in the show with the short hair and the arm and everything. Very cool.
Definitely staring you down.
Yep.
Just staring.
Yep. Okay, go ahead. Next one. There you go. There's the U.S. agent himself, John Walker.
Oh, that's the new U.S. agent outfit, isn't it?
Yep. It's again they had to keep that one secret until after the episode. So then
they had to keep a couple of these secret. That's very
cool. Those red gloves. Wow.
Yeah. There we have Zemo, Baron Zemo.
Oh, and he's got his book.
He's got the book.
Did you guys notice?
It's so strange how they're turning him into like a likable character and all that.
Did you notice in the last episode? I had to go back and read. He was the one responsible for blowing up the truck full of the super soldiers. Zemo.
Oh,
he arranged.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because it showed the old dude like his his outfit.
I missed that until I read about it. Yeah. So Zemo,
and then moving along, we have the first figure from Loki. So there you go. You got Loki in just his, I don't know, regular looking.
Tom Hiddleston.
Just like
This is awesome.
WandaVision, you got the Scarlet Witch herself in her full-on Scarlet Witch outfit, Wanda.
Yep. And this next one's my favorite. I love this.
You also have Vision in the white costume with kind of
white
like that.
Vision. Yeah.
That cape's really cool. Looks kind of like transparent. So very cool stuff.
Now, Jake, all these were released on. Is it during the Hasbro Pulse? Is that like an?
Yeah, they're going to be. You can buy. They'll be released in stores too, but I don't know if they're up now for pre-order or what. But they just posted these today, so a lot of those were
all brand new. That's just kind of cool. Derek, you'll like this one. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, those are like the ones that I had.
Yeah,
actually,
this is Super 7. They do the reaction figures, and they just announced they're doing Star Trek, so they have the next generation. So who all we have here? We have
Picard,
Borg, Worf, Data, Guinan, and Wesley.
Yep. So
look, I'm a little annoyed that we got Wesley Crusher before we got Dr. Crusher.
Well, it's only series 1, so I'm sure she's coming.
Oh, that's just Borg. That's not Lacretia, right?
It's just a Borg. It's not
it just says Borg. So all
right,
these are fun.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good.
What is this?
Yeah,
Outer Toast Man. Oh man.
So for all you
90s
Nickelodeon fans, Ren and Stimpy, the Super 7, they have these reaction figures now, and they're delving into the animated stuff. So you got Powdered Toast Man, and go ahead. What else we have? There's Stimpy.
Yep. And
Ren. I love how the back cards are shaped like Ren's is like a fire hydrant. Stimpy's was like a bag of cat litter, I think. Really fun stuff. So growing up with that, it's like, wow, I wish I would have had that when we were kids.
All right.
Yep.
And then what is this?
Okay, so this is Super 7.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yep. So Super 7 has this line of action figures called the Ultimates, and they do a couple of different ones. One of them is the Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have this line of figures that are basically like the original Playmates action figures, but like super deluxe version of them with way more articulation and tons of things. So they've done some ones before, like the Turtles, obviously, and the main characters, and then they just released this picture like the other day. And it's of Krang, the villain from Ninja Turtles, the cartoon. And it's just like a silhouette of the body. So it's like, guess what's coming when everyone's like, oh, man, you see that? And it's just like nostalgia overload. So really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, you can see a little bit. It's just like a little sneak. Super 7's all about the little teases and little sneak peeks. Like, oh, they'll post a picture and it's just like a hand or like holding an accessory. And you're like, I know what that is. Oh, my gosh.
All right, our last two, celebrating a big anniversary, a 35th anniversary.
Yeah, today, currently today for you guys, but this next day for me. Yep. But, today actually is Alien Day. Do you know why?
Why?
Because it's 4/26, and in Aliens and the original Alien, the planet they go to is LV-426. So now it's ever since a couple years ago, they've declared it as Alien Day. So Super 7, to celebrate it, released a couple new action figures in the reaction line. So what you're seeing here is Bill Paxton's character, Hudson, with a special card that says "Game Over, Man." His famous line from the movie. Yep. And it's a re-release of the figure, but he has like a new expression on his face, like he's scared looking and stuff.
He does look scared.
Yeah. And then the last one, they were doing a new line of the xenomorphs, the actual alien. So, and my favorite one is on the far right. You can see they're doing the dog alien from Alien 3.
Oh yeah,
and also then the second from the left, they're doing the newborn alien from Alien Resurrection, which I still think is a cool movie, but it's gotten mixed reviews over the years.
Is the one in the middle, is that the queen?
No, those are just all, they look like drones or whatever, but different. Super 7's all about color, variants and repaints and stuff. So they're just doing a lot of special ones, and then they'll put them out for a certain time, and the collectors go crazy.
Dude, thank you. Sorry. Stop. Thank you so much for sharing that. I saw that today. They've released so much stuff, and I was talking with Brad and Jake yesterday or today. It's like, we have to do just a collectible show, because within the past, I don't know what happened, 3 weeks, you guys have gone crazy, especially Brad. He's been, what is that? Kong. You got the Kong. Look at that. Let me see it up close.
I got him.
Wait, let me see it again. Yep, I've got it too. I don't know where mine's at. All right, we do at the end. We're kind of going
to this.
Let's see what
the time machines from Back to the Future 2.
Is that just the model, or is it like a remote control car or anything?
No, this is a remote control. I think he got this at like Universal City Walk, here.
Oh, nice.
Hollywood. So
that's really cool.
Kind of throwing it there. Pretty
right.
cool.
Nice.
Has some in it and everything.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are watching, those of you who are listening, thank you for watching and listening to the Con Guy Show. You don't know how much we appreciate you guys being a part of this. We're just geeks and nerds, and we love talking about this. We love doing this. We love sharing this with you guys. We love when people get on and talk with us. It just makes it so much more fun. So thank you so much. You can find me at Jim Fry LA on Twitter, or James D. Fry on Instagram, or follow us at theconguy.com on Twitter. I'm saying it wrong, on Twitter, or the Con Guy on Instagram. Follow us also on YouTube and Facebook. Jake, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Jacoba System.
All right. Cheeseman.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Cheese on Couch, and also on theconguy.com.
Cool. Mr. Derek Sams.
Hey, you can occasionally find me on Twitter at ConGuyDerek, more often on theconguy.com, and right here on the Con Guy Happy Hour. And be checking theconguy.com. The Samblings recently did an interview with the actor Josh Murray for the independent film Gym Rat, which is about an ex-con who's obsessed. He's obsessed with the Hulk and wants to be the next Mr. Olympia because of that. But we geeked out with Josh about fandoms, about gaming, talked a bit about fitness and body image issues, and it all kind of relates to being nerds. But I'm mentioning it now because look at gymratmovie.com. That's GYM, not to be confused with JIM, like Jim Fry, but GYM, gymratmovie.com. They're still crowdfunding to finish things up, and you can find out information about that on their website. But be looking for that interview, also at theconguy.com.
And we meant to put that one posted last week, but we're getting that up this week. It's a real interesting interview. Does anybody have anything else to say before we close the show tonight? Hey, guys, love you all. Everybody, I just want to remind everybody, we are coming to the end of a really stressful year. Lots of lemons. And just be kind to people. I know it's hard, and I know we get worn out and stressed out. We have people who are sick and not here tonight. We hope, we wish them well. If any of our moms are watching, we love you. And anyways, guys, hopefully we'll see a lot more of you guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com. Find us on the Weeby Geeks Collective or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now on sci-fi.radio, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, both AM and PM. That's 9 o'clock Greenwich. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.